everything is just going mishmash in all these financial issues involving if Andrew Bynum stays with the Cavaliers, if he if he traded to a team, and if he's clears waivers, all these scenarios helping teams are hurting the Cavaliers in this situation. It's probably going to hurt the Cavaliers since they can't trade Andrew Bynum by Tuesday. Let's start with Ian on this one. Richard Jefferson, Paul Gasol, those are the two main guys that have been linked to Andrew Bynum being traded. How do you think things were going to go down between the Cavaliers and Andrew Bynum?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I thought when the Cavaliers acquired Andrew Bynum from the 76ers, I believe, I thought, wow, this team is going to be really good. Kyrie Irving, a number one pick, which kind of turned out to be a bust so far this year, and Dion Waiters. That's a pretty decent starting four. And then you add in Anderson Varejao, who's a really good rebounder, and you think, oh, that's a playoff caliber team in the Eastern Conference, which, like you said, isn't very strong right now. I think this will end up going through because Andrew Bynum, he has so many problems. He has the injuries, and then you look at Pau Gasol. He's not the most dominant player in the league, but he gets the job done. He'll be a nice piece to add on to the Cavaliers' hopes to get to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, obviously the Cavaliers have been struggling this year. They are third to last in the Eastern Conference at an 11-23 record. They're 16.5 back of the Indiana Pacers for the number one spot. That's not a really big concern because they're only 3 games behind the number 8 seed in the Detroit Pistons, and that's the 8 seed is the last seed you got to get in for the playoffs. You also said there are a couple of options that the Cavaliers have. Another option is that the Cavaliers can just trade Andrew Bynum at the trade deadline in February. Let's go to you, Robert. Let's go to the other side for the Lakers and Pau Gasol. How do you think Pau Gasol will feel if he's linked to trade talks with his former teammate?
I look at the idea, and Pau Gasol has been the best thing for the Lakers because of injury issues. I think this guy has made a difference. I mean, he averages 15 points a game for the Lakers. I think he should be able to stay there, but he's probably going to say that, it's work and it's just how it goes. I mean, some players take it that way. If you get traded, you get traded. But I think if the Cavaliers want to go a better way, I think getting Jefferson, would be the easier way to go. Now, maybe that isn't the best possibility.
Yeah, it's true. Because right now, I feel like what the Cavaliers have, their best small forward is Alonzo G. And putting in Richard Jefferson in, who's first is older, maybe has more experience in the playoffs and stuff, and could prove to be maybe a good player, but a good fit. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be an improvement. You want to see an improvement. And from the Cavaliers standpoint, they're going to be losing a lot of money because of Pau Gasol and his wanting for money with his statistics over the years, and then Andrew Bynum, the Cavaliers want to lose money with Bynum, and then they'll probably neutral it with Gasol and get a good player, and they can use it at the center spot. They don't really have a good center. Andrew Bynum's gone, so they have to use Tristan Thompson, who really hasn't turned out well from being the 4th overall pick in the same draft that Kyrie Irving was in. So let's go to final thoughts on this. Let's start with Ian.
Okay. One quick comment. LeBron James is a free agent after this year, correct?
Yes. There's a huge free agent year. Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade, I think, and LeBron are free agents. It's gonna be a beautiful free agent year this offseason.
So what you look at, you think about adding Pau Gasol with money. I think you take Andrew Bynum, you trade him away, get rid of some issues, and then you trade him for I don't know, another center, maybe a small forward, or one position you need. You get a guy who's not very good, who's not taking in a lot of money, so you can have more money for this upcoming free agency, and go after a player like LeBron, because in the back of his mind, he's thinking about, should I go back to Cleveland?
That's a good idea. I'm not concerned. Cleveland, they just need one player. They need a small forward. Alonzo G is not going to be, a LeBron James. He's not going to be anywhere close to a Richard Jefferson, in my opinion. He's nothing really close, and that's their problem, small forward, and they need a leader. Kyrie Irving's a leader, but he's not there half the time because he's been injured throughout his entire career. That's the same thing that happened to him at Duke. He was a number 1 overall pick, but he missed the entire season, and I didn't really get that. Like, how is this guy a number 1 overall pick, and he carries the injuries over to the Cavaliers? So that's a great. I feel like LeBron has a right mindset in saying, hey, maybe I should go back to Cleveland. Maybe first I should gain my reputation back, because when he left for Miami, they're just burning jerseys all over the place, and obviously they didn't really like that. So think about your options. He's obviously going to get a lot of options. The Warriors obviously not going to be the case. Just a random team out of my head. I'm thinking about the big market teams. I'm thinking that he's probably going to re-sign with the Heat. He can go to the Knicks if Carmelo and Chris Paul want to join up and get together. Those are the new big three. I don't care. That'll be a little bit difficult though, because they're 2 small forwards, Carmelo and LeBron. But I'm just yabbering. Anyway, just for LeBron, he needs to sign with a team that he should be a leader for, rather than one of the 3 Musketeers. And I don't think he wants to be a 3 Musketeer. I don't think he wants to be part of that. I feel like he wants to be a leader. And being with the 3 Musketeers in Miami, I feel like it's all about Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and LeBron James. I feel like he just wants to be all about LeBron James. And he has a great point about it. Michael Jordan was all about Michael Jordan. And then in the back rows there is Scottie Pippen.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, and final thoughts from Robert.
This whole deal with Andrew Bynum is like not. I don't know. I just kind of gave up on Bynum at this point. I mean, yeah, I believed what Ian thought in the beginning of the year. I thought, the Cavaliers are going to be such a great team, and I think that they're going to be one of the best in the Eastern Conference. Well, that doesn't really plan out in their favor. But I mean, I don't want to see Paul Gasol go. I think once he's a Laker, always a Laker type of thing. I don't see him going anywhere else, really. I don't see him in a Cavaliers uniform. I've always seen him in a Lakers uniform, and he's always been the most consistent guy on that team.
Paul Gasol?
Yes.
He's been in a Grizzlies jersey before.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, Marc Gasol kind of followed them with the Grizzlies, but I'm not trying to bust your balls.
Oh, well, but I mean, he's still going to be a Laker.
Yeah, he's been a Laker for a very long time, and he's been a very
loyal.
Yeah, very loyal and very good. Let's finish off the show with the NBA standings. And all we have is just lots and lots of fun, making fun of the Eastern Conference, who has only 4 teams that are above or at 500. And those are the following teams: Indiana, Miami, obviously teams that we're looking at. Atlanta, bit of a surprise. Toronto is 16-16. And they don't have Rudy Gay anymore, so that's a bit of a concern. And Sacramento, well, they are second to last with Rudy Gay. To round out the bottom 4 in the Eastern Conference goes Washington at 14-17, Chicago 14-18 without Derrick Rose once again. 7th is Charlotte with Al Jefferson. That was pretty good. That was a good acquisition. And number 8 is Detroit, who spent a lot of money getting Josh Smith and Brandon Jennings, and getting also Chauncey Billups. So, obviously the Eastern Conference is absolute bust this year. And it's not even a question, like, the Eastern Conference got better, and then it got worse. But let's start with Robert this time. Obviously you have a lot of hatred towards the Eastern Conference this year.
Oh, yes,
What's your quick reaction before we wrap up the show?
All right, look. Everyone thought that, this Eastern Conference is supposed to be so good. Like there was supposed to be top 4 teams, and this was supposed to be, they got 2 right, Indiana and Miami, and Brooklyn and the New York. So Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks were supposed to be in that top 4 discussion. Well, no, that's not going to happen. They pretty much stunk this year.
The season isn't over yet, Robert.
But they still stink. They're not even in the playoff picture, and they have horrible records. Detroit's 14-20.
New York has no one.
Detroit is 4. Okay, let's first
Detroit is actually pretty good. I have to say that Detroit needs to play
They're
better.
14-20 though,
But
with Jennings and Josh Smith.
Yeah, personnel-wise, they're very good. Talent-wise and what they've been putting out in the Eastern Conference. No,
they're not good.
Can I finish my...
Yes.
What they've been putting out there during the regular season, the first 34 games of the year, has been very disappointing. It's very underrated. For Detroit, they need sports. They've been having so much economic issues. They need something to count on. In Detroit,
they
getting all
these
good players.
They have the Tigers.
I feel like they have the Pistons too, because they need to bring back the Pistons. They got Josh Smith. They got Brandon Jennings. They need to work together. Hopefully it's a year one Miami type of situation.
Have you looked at what they go against if the season ended today?
They're 8th. That's fine.
They go against Indiana. Indiana
they'll
will
lose.
Destroy them.
I know they'll lose, but I'm saying that they need to do better. They just need to work on chemistry. So I feel like getting Brandon Jennings a point guard and getting Josh Smith a big man, getting 2 new guys in 2 different positions is just it's different. It's the same thing for Miami. Okay. Hopefully that's going to be the case.
Look, I'm fine with Indiana, Miami, and Lance being that top 3. That's fine. But, I mean, you look at Toronto, who actually have a Brody Gay, as you said, and he's not even doing well at the Kings. And Toronto, for some reason, is still at an even 500. And the rest of the teams are 3 games below 500 or more. All right. That's disappointing.
Okay. Yeah,
I
know it's disappointing.
That is the worst.
We need Ian. No. We need Ian to talk about this.
Line us up here.
Yeah, let's line the mood here, as you might give us a little bit of positive stuff from the Eastern Conference, or maybe nothing.
Nothing.
The Eastern Conference is awful.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure a high school basketball team could beat more than half the teams in the Eastern Conference. It's ridiculous.
That's all true.
And that's a great way to end the show.
U of A could beat them with Aaron Gordon.
I say that with Aaron Gordon, with Nick Johnson, with his 360 dunks that he did yesterday, I say Arizona can beat
Milwaukee.
No, I feel like they can beat Minnesota. I feel like Aaron Gordon could post up well against Kevin Love.
Would just destroy them.
Oh, yeah, I know. But he'll score like 50 points. But that's all the time we have here. Let's go some final words. Let's start with Ian, as he is on Skype, and we'd like to thank him for being on here throughout the entire show. And I'll say for Nick Rice, he thanks us for being on the show and all the fun stuff that he did on the show as well. So, Ian, final words before we wrap up.
It's been great, guys. Seahawks all the way. 12th man. 49ers suck.
What a great way. That's the classic Ian Martin there. Thank you very much, Ian. Hopefully you get a show in soon so all the Spreaker lovers that we have here on the National Sports Radio Station can listen to your beautiful Seahawks voice. And Robert, let's end off the show with Deits and Stevens, All That Sports Show way, with our final thoughts on today.
Great job by the Bay Area today. Give shout-outs to the Warriors that beat the Wizards. They get their 9-game winning streak going still. Seattle Supersonics don't do anything, of course. The 49ers get a big win over the Packers, 23-20 with 3 seconds left. Phil Dawson with the winning field goal. And the 3-2, it was a shootout that they won 2-0 for the Sharks. They get a big win over the Blackhawks.
Yeah, that's a big win the first time.
And no one likes Chicago.
Yeah.
To be honest.
First time the Sharks have won the United Center since 2010. Are you finished with your final words?
You know what? Yes, I am. And okay. Ian Martin said we took things too far with the Seattle Supersonics.
I mentioned that. You copied me, man. But thank you, Robert. Thank you, Ian. I'll wrap up the show from here. Just a few pointers for all the college football fans that hopefully be listening and still on. DeAnthony Thomas from Oregon is going to the draft. Blake Bortles is going to the draft, quarterback from UCF. Our own National Sports, Phil Nunziata, I think it's Nunziata.
Nunziata, yeah.
Yeah, he is very disappointed that he's good friends with Bortles. And also Sammy Watkins, the number 1 rated wide receiver out of Clemson, he is going to turn pro. And my final words officially is that Seahawks, go duck yourself. And that's our show, folks. Thank you very much for listening to Deits and Stevens All Sports Show. For Ian Martin and Robert Dieters, my name is Stephen Hughes, and that's it from Deits and Stevens All Sports Show. Have a great night, and for all those high schoolers, you are